Welcome to Indie Depth, the show where we go in depth with independent filmmakers. Today I have Tim Firtion, a New Jersey filmmaker whose web series, The Jersey Connection, has won 8 awards, including Best Crime Short, Best Web Series, Best Director in a Crime Short, Best Cinematography. The list goes on. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, it's funny. We met at New Jersey Web Festival. Shout out to Nimbasha and Co. Whoa. Great guys. And they put that together, and I have a web series called The Connection.
Yes,
And
you do.
you have The Jersey Connection. So I thought it was awesome that we were able to make a connection at that connection screening.
It was good. Yeah, it was funny. The connection, Jersey connection. Yeah, I like that.
It's just perfect. I love that
Yeah.
they put us together.
And we even got a picture together too, I think.
We did.
Where I was like pointing at my show's poster, you were pointing at your show's poster. It was kind of cool. Yeah.
That was neat. That was a great time.
It was fun.
And so you have season 1 of that out on YouTube right now, right?
No, it was on YouTube, but I took it down. I'm having it remastered, and then we're going with a different platform.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. So
Very cool.
that's the release date of that is TBD. I'm
Sure.
not exactly sure yet.
Okay.
So
But it's a good series, so when you get a chance and when it's up, we'll have a link in the description. You can check it out. If you don't see one, wait a week or so. Check again.
all right.
Yeah, so we screened an episode from season 2.
Season 2 opener, yes.
Yeah, and that was
Yes.
pretty cool. One of the big things that I remember at the Q&A, and the big thing everybody was talking about was your prison set.
Prison set. Yeah. That was yeah, it's good. Prison set was good. We that actually wasn't part of the original plan. I had tried to shoot at an actual prison. And I scoured all of the tri-state area trying to find the prison. I couldn't find one. I found one all the way up in Suffolk County, New York, but it wasn't very logistical. It wasn't practical going all the way up there.
Yeah.
So I came home one night. I'm telling my parents. I said, "What am I going to do about this?" Because I really wanted to make this episode. And then my dad, who was a contractor, he said, "Well, what if we just built it here?" I thought he was like out of his mind at first. I'm like, how are we building a full-fledged prison set inside our house? But we like worked out all of the dimensions of a particular room in our house. We drew up a vision board, I guess, like what the architects draw, like that. And then I had to make a list of all of the materials that we would need: lumber, drywall, paint, plexiglass, all that stuff. So I had to go out, buy all that, and then it took us about a week. I would say 45 hours in total.
Wow.
Building this thing. And we actually put the finishing touches on it right before we started shooting.
Okay.
So it was like very fast paced, but no, it turned out well. I'm very proud of it. My father, I could not have done it without him. So it was quite a feat, I feel, and I'm very proud of it.
It was. It looked real. No one knew.
Thanks,
And then when you came up in the Q&A and said, that was my living room, I'm like, this guy lives in a prison? Like, what?
On my old, just always living in prison all
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
So now, like, if you ever, do something, with the car or something, your parents have a place to put you.
Yeah.
But that's
What can I
great,
say?
man. We loved it. Everybody there just thought it was real. And I mean, you had a shot leading in with, I think, a gate opening or closing. Was that
Yes.
stock footage, or how did that work?
That was actually stock footage. It turns out it's like not the easiest thing finding stock footage that actually works
Yeah.
and complements the scene. So I spent a lot of time trying to find a shot of a jail door closing, and I found that. I tested it out. I said it's perfect. So I wound up going with that. But the shot of the prison outside, the establishing shot, was with an actual drone shot. So I wound up going to that prison. There's like a certain law where the camera has to be a certain amount of feet.
Right.
Uh, I think it's like 500 feet. So I did that. I set it up. I got a circling shot of the prison, and yeah, and I just worked it in. So it all seemed like it was it was actually inside a visiting room. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's the importance of what shot leads into the next one, and I know I've agonized over picking stock footage that needs to set the scene for a location, but in this case, it was inside a location, and it just led into your set, and
Yes.
really made it feel like it was more expansive and bigger and in a prison.
Good. Good. I'm glad it gave that vibe. So I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, building. Your dad's a contractor.
Yes.
Um, I'm guessing he hasn't built a prison before. What?
No, has
That
never
was a
built
first.
prison. Yeah.
So how did he approach this? Because this is huge. This is like unheard of for me and for many indie filmmakers to build
Yeah,
something like this.
he approached it like he had done it before, which he hadn't. So it was like he was. It's still just crazy to me. He's like, oh, we'll just and he was just throwing a bunch of contractor terms at me. He's like, yeah, we can map out here and put this thing here and there. I'm like, all right, if you say so. So he said, but I want you to, what I need from you is to draw me a sketch, a storyboard of how you want this to look. I said, okay. So I did that. I put that together. I brought it back to him, and he said, okay, so we will need all of these materials. So I went out, got all those materials. I brought them back, and he just started building. I helped him build too, but he was like really the one building it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, he's the lead.
yeah, yeah.
So did
But,
you build a 3/4 set?
it was all right. So in the episode, you see it's 3 visiting booths.
Right.
That's actually what it was. It
Okay.
was like maybe like I want to say a 20-foot 20-foot set.
Wow.
So yeah, it took up most of the room. There was like one little walkway path, and that was it. We had it was like actually a closed-in set, and my dad built these retractable doors, if that's what you call them, where he would pull it off, and then we would go in and shoot, and then it became a closed-off set.
Okay.
So yeah,
Did you use your own walls, or did you build like another walled
it was
in?
all built.
Wow.
Everything was built. Yeah, the actual room was completely you didn't see what our actual room looks like. It was just all closed off set.
Okay.
It was like built in. So
Amazing.
yeah,
What a way to open a season.
yeah. I wanted to start with an oomph, something.
You got to. You got to. I know with my web series, we took a day to shoot the opening scene, which I do intercut with, but we said, all right, this is the first day of production. This is the tone setter for everything. We're going to take extra time. We're going to get our dolly moves right. We're going to, pull out all the stops. And I think it's very important to start something strong.
Yes, I agree. I'd want to ask you about the dolly shots. I like using dolly shots too. Do you use a makeshift dolly, or do you use like a professional standard dolly?
It's somewhere in between. Like, I think
Yeah.
it was made by someone. I don't own it. The 2 times I've used dollies have been friend setups. One has been like a little skateboard, like triangle on rails, which I
Okay.
love. I need to get one of those if I can find an affordable one, and
Yeah,
a place.
they're not cheap.
And a place to put it.
Yeah.
But that was great because it was very mobile. In that case, I was shooting around a table, so I could kind of go this way and then like readjust to a different part of the table very quickly, and then shoot this way. But in the case of the connection, one of my good friends and a producer had their own dolly that they bought. And what we did was we weighted it down with sandbags, because if your dolly is light and bouncing around, it's not going to look great. I mean, there are some
Yeah.
talks of like Francis Ford Coppola putting like 900 pounds on a camera dolly and then just having like five guys like just try to push it, because that weight, it's not shaky, it lends itself that gravitas of like, ooh, this is cinematic.
Oh
We're
yeah,
pushing in.
that's actually it's actually a good point. Yeah, more weights on it,
Yeah, so
the smoother it goes. Yeah.
we had a stool for the dolly. I had my camera, tripod. We put all the excess sandbags that we weren't using for light, um, and I sat on the actual dolly. And I think it had a handle, and we had someone pull it. And I just said, pull it as slow as possible, but make sure it doesn't like stop, and it's not like just
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
smooth.
I wanted a dolly too, but they're very expensive dollies. They're not cheap. And once again, contractor dad steps in and says, "I'll build a dolly."
Oh,
All right, cool.
oh snap!
So yeah, he's actually, I have to say, my parents in particular are my biggest collaborators. They've been a tremendous support system. So,
That's
you know,
important for any filmmaker.
yeah. So I'm just really glad I got them.
For sure, for sure.